Hey y'all, Eric here with another LGBT history moment for today, day 18, on the day of the No Kings protests across the nation, which by all accounts, and I haven't seen too much of the news today as I had a long video, long board meeting today, as well as going through my neighborhood and doing my civic duty of picking up trash in the neighborhood, even though I'm just going to say it. I don't care who says it. These are grown men and women who own $400,000 and $500,000 value houses that can't pick up trash in front of their homes. Well, it ain't in my yard, so why should I pick it up? Because it's your neighborhood. And if you don't want your property values to go down, how about helping out the neighborhood? So once a month, it gives me exercise, puts me out in the neighborhood on nice weather. I can meet some friendly dogs and chat a little bit with the neighbors. In fact, I probably know more of the neighbors in this neighborhood than most of the people on the board. But that's not the subject of the video today. Today I'm spotlighting a moment in the past for LGBTQ plus rights. Today's focus is on the 1979 March on Washington for lesbian and gay rights. And here is a picture. And let's dive. Actually, let me make sure that we can dive right into this. I thought, yeah. So let me bring this over here. And then we'll go back here. There we go. All right, sorry about that. So let me get right into it. So the 1979 National March on Washington for lesbian and gay rights was a major LGBTQ plus civil rights demonstration that occurred on October 14th, 1979 in Washington, D.C. An estimated 75,000 to 125,000 people marched to demand comprehensive federal civil rights legislation, the repeal of anti-gay laws, and an end to workplace and parental discrimination, according to PBS and Facebook posts from Facebook users and Facebook posts, and so on. And part of this report was done by PBS. The purpose of this march was to protest discrimination and advocate for the federal civil rights protections of LGBTQ plus people. There were 5 main demands: comprehensive civil rights protections for LGBT plus Q individuals, repeal of all discriminatory laws, equal parenting rights in custody cases, freedom from workplace discrimination, and an end to anti-LGBTQ plus immigration policies. The march occurred in a climate of increasing anti-LGBTQ plus activism, including the Save Our Children campaign led by Anita Bryant in 1977, and followed the 1978 assassination of gay rights leader Harvey Milk. The event helped to create a national unified movement and solidified activist networks across the country. It was a precursor to the much larger 1987 National March on Washington for LGBT gay rights, which attracted 750,000 participants. All right, so I can give a little bit of personal context. When that march happened in 1979, I was a rising senior at Spartanburg High School, and I wasn't out to myself or anything like that. But civil rights and marches and sit-ins and protests are in my DNA and my family. My mother, when she was at Friendship Junior College, which most people know it today as Wingate University, yes, same school. Um, Friendship Junior College was the black college, and Wingate College was the white college. During the end of the Jim Crow era when my mom went to college. And so it made perfect sense to her when I later on in life came out to her and she saw me on the news protesting in Washington, D.C. in the 1987 March for lesbian and gay rights. I had been out of college for 2 years, and my boyfriend at the time and I, with a bunch of our friends, decided to go to Washington to participate that. And then subsequently, I participated with new friends in D.C. in the subsequent um, marches in Washington for gay marriage, and I marched in all three of those marches. And I'm very proud of that and the long lineage of my family for civil rights of all people. And so I find myself contemplating and in thought, having not been able to participate in the No Kings March today, because at the same time here in Charlotte, when the protest was happening, that was when my board meeting was happening, and I could not miss that meeting. It was important, and it's our last meeting before our neighborhood association meeting. And so, what we're doing now, and I think that I am more tuned in now than I've ever been in my life at 63 years old, with the attacks on different segments of the country by the current administration. And even my YouTube channel is being attacked because of the videos I'm doing. And it's interesting to me that when I read the comments are regarding the videos I do about trans women. Not even trans people in general, just trans women. And I profiled Sarah McBride the other day, and these trolls have come on to woodwork, calling me a clown, or calling gay people clowns. One religious zealot even said that, in all caps, that they are going to take back the rainbow, and that God will wield His judgment, and all of that. Well, if that person is going to view this video, I want that person to know the God that I serve and the God that I pray to understands and knows that I gave me the knowledge to know that I am a child of God. I am a son of God. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not. In fact, I use that as one of my powers with the knowledge I have to go against those who would say that they have that same knowledge and come against us. And that those same people back in the day used that same knowledge to justify slavery. They used it to justify women staying at home and being baby factories. Yes, those same people. But the thing about it is that people don't understand when religion is inserted into government, that's when things go awry. Famously, Jesus said, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's." And so I liken that to the separation of church and state. And quite frankly, I'll be damned if I see this country change from a constitutional republic to a Christian nationalist theocracy while I'm still alive. That will never happen because no good will come from it. None. This country was founded in part on the freedom of religion. That doesn't mean you get to put your religion on everybody. That means that you have the freedom to worship in your own way. And again, that does not mean that you get to come after me if you think that my religion has nothing to do with yours. And the reverse is also true. I don't do that myself. Because in fact, I don't beat my chest about being a believer until believers are using that same platform to put people down. That is not what it's meant for. But wars have been created over less. And I will tell you, that is part and parcel of the reason that these skirmishes and many wars and the unsettlement in the Middle East will never be solved, because it is based on old, ancient, historical, biblical wars. That's a fact. That's a fact. And if you don't believe, you don't have to believe me. Look it up. Look it up. Israel will never rest. They can't. They are surrounded by countries that have it out for him, have it out for Israel. I mean, granted, Israel's not that old of a country. In fact, land was taken from several countries to create a country for Jewish people. But that's also a misconception, too. Not everybody in Israel is Jewish. And it is a fallacy to call an Israeli a Jew, because not every Israeli is Jewish, and not every Jewish person is Israeli. There are Russian Jews. In fact, there's one who's a doctor that I follow on YouTube because of his sage advice. His parents escaped Russia because of the persecution of Russian Jews. And we are fortunate to have Dr. Mike in this country because of what he's done with medicine. But let me get back to the point of this video. The LGBTQ community is being attacked on all sides and on all fronts. African Americans are having their voting rights threatened, gutted and threatened, to the point where it will probably be no use of anybody going to vote. And I hope that mindset does not take hold. And I'm talking about the gerrymandering that's going on with the redistricting in all these states. Because that's what it's about. It's about disenfranchising voters, and particularly black voters. The erasing of trans people from the military. Pete Hegseth talking about women can stay in the military as long as they can live up to the male strength warrior standard. I'm going to ask, it's a fictional character, but I'm going to ask Pete Hegseth, the rhetorical question is, does he want an army of Xenas? Does he want an army of Xena warrior princesses? Or I would remind him of an army that actually lived, of 150 couples, 300 men. They were all gay, and they were undefeated for more than 20 years. They were Greeks. Their history is documented. He can have gay people if they fought like them, but he probably wouldn't because they're gay. No matter how many battles they won, they would never measure up to his ideal of what a man is. I guess that would include the Botox shots that he gets. But I digress. But you know, they talk about wars. You know, and in some respects, we are at war in this country. You know, Donald Trump likes to call anyone who protests Antifa. This country is the very definition of anti-fascist. We fought world wars against fascism. We have fought civil wars, a civil war in this country over fascism. And we actually went against a fascist king to create this country. Yet anyone in modern times who protests the way that we are protesting now against this government is Antifa. We are an enemy within, when in fact, his administration is the enemy within. Because now, and I said this on a prior video, what he is telling states to do now is that the government is not open by November 1st. And November 1st is a Saturday anyway. He should have said October 31st, but he said November 1st. If the government is not open by November 1st, he is asking states to withhold SNAP benefits. Yes, he said that. He put that out on Truth Social right behind him issuing a clemency announcement for George Santos. And while George Santos is one of us, I'm not claiming him. I'm not. But give that to some thought. Give that some thought. If you protested today, if you were in the marches today, I salute you and I thank you. If you were able to stream it on your YouTube channel, I thank you and I salute you. If you were able to assist the marchers with water and food and you welcome them into your restaurants and stores, I salute you and I thank you. But if you are out there protesting against the marchers today, then you don't understand what it means to be an American. But I will say this, I will die fighting so that both sides have the ability to peacefully protest, because that is part of our Constitution. No matter what this administration does to try to suppress the First Amendment, the freedom to speak and the freedom to peacefully march, no matter what they do, we will not go gentle into that good night. And so I wrap this video up by saying #elections have consequences even on the local level, and resistance is not futile. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.